Hey, everybody, what's going on? Special news AF. And guess what, everybody? Danny is traveling. We have a fill in today. Please welcome the third wheel today for News AF. It's going to be Brandon Donlin is here.
Hey. What's
BD,
going on?
BD for VD. That's
Vascular
D for-
D.
Vascular
Double
D.
T.
Yes.
So we've got
yes.
Brandon Donlon in for Vascular D, Danny's favorite nickname. He came up with it on his own, and we've just tried to support him in.
Yeah. We'll have a quiz for you later on in the show of how much do you know about Danny Bryson?
Oh,
Yes, that's
God
coming
forbid.
up.
Danny Bryson
That's
quiz.
coming
Because
up.
he'll be listening.
Yeah.
I can only hope to be as vascular as he is.
Yes, you
You're-
could
you're
only
my
hope.
hour.
You could
You're
not.
definitely not as vascular. I
Well,
can
we
tell
don't know.
you.
We can
Mhm.
do. We'll do a check when we turn the camera.
Okay.
All the,
Yeah.
Sure.
He's getting his
Anyway.
steps in. He's getting there.
Yeah.
I'm stepping
Yeah.
every day. I already stepped this morning.
Rumor mill is swirling. Steffers in the chat says Danny is on Survivor 50.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Steffers. They led him to believe for over a year that he would be on the show, only to find out that he had been cut from the show a couple weeks ago.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, that really sucks,
That
you
sucks.
know. And
He
so,
put on his Instagram story was a black screen that said, "Well, would have been fun."
well, would have been fun. And
Mhm.
summer plans just freed up.
Mhm.
And, it's cool because if that happened to you, you're only one of 600 people in the world that happened to on that within that same 2-week time frame.
Oh, sorry, Danny. Okay.
Hail
So he-
Klarna.
Hail Klarna. Danny is trying to pick up the pieces, but he should be back with us next week. But are you ready? You ready for the News AF for real?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and turn this baby on and talk about some news, okay? All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back again to talk with you about the week's most interesting news stories for the week of May 6, 2025, here on News AF.
If the story is buzzing like it's on crystal meth, it's about to be News AF. If the same old news makes you bored to death, it's time for some News AF. Actual, factual news.
Yeah, that's right. News AF, a special episode, and we'll tell you why here in just a moment as we're joined here by pickleball's top influencer, Father Nature. It's Tyson Apostol. Tyson, how are you?
Just out here influencing, catching content and then getting it edited and pushing it out slowly but surely, and things are going good. I witnessed a house fire from start to finish on Sunday morning.
Yes.
So you know how good things are going.
Yes. Okay, tell us the story. What happened?
I've never seen fireman work. So I just assumed what they do based on movies and film and stuff. I've never seen the action live, and it's incredible. I went to my friend's house to play pickleball. He has a couple courts in his backyard, and there was like some black smoke coming from one of the neighbors' houses.
Not new pope.
There's no new pope yet. And that was my first joke. I mean, you and I, great minds. I said, well, no new pope yet, guys. And then I was like, also that smoke doesn't look good. And they were like, the neighbors might be burning trash. They're that type of neighbor.
Yeah. Okay. Sasu, in your pants, as Tyson, was it the guy who was burning the sex toys?
I mean, there could probably be more than one guy that was burning sex toys, right? So maybe. Well, anyways, the smoke seemed a little sus, but not alarming yet. And then all of a sudden, there was a lot more smoke and flames coming from the side of the house. And then I was like, oh shit, that house is on fire. And there's like 8 of us there playing pickleball. So we all run over. And as I'm running, I'm like, I have no skills to help anybody at anything. What the fuck am I doing running over there? Like, I'm not trained, or I don't know. All I can do is make sure that 911 gets called and to like kind of make sure that everybody's out of the house. family was out of the house. They were panicking. I was making Pope jokes, and then realized that it might not be very sensitive in these people's times of disaster. So I was like, I have more Pope jokes. Let's go to the backyard where they can't see us.
Mhm.
That wasn't really true, but
Especially if they're Catholic, they might be like especially hurt.
yeah. So 911 got called, and I shit you not, within 5 minutes of that phone call being out, there were like 7 fire trucks there.
Wow.
It was so fast. Like the second the call went through, you could hear sirens in the distance. And I didn't know that the fire trucks, they hook up to multiple fire hydrants on the block, and then they drive their trucks as the hose is falling off the back of it, just like like hundreds of yards, a quarter of a mile down the road. And so they have multiple streams of water, not income, multiple streams of water blasting this thing. They climb up on the roof. They're smashing the roof in, like poking holes in it to like vent stuff. And then they smash it in more to make sure that they can really fill the whole house up with water. And it was action packed. It was like a lot of effort. And I was glad that I was very sad for the people, but I was glad that I've got to see how firemen work on burning houses, because I really had no idea. I talked to Jeremy, our friend Jeremy, once about it, and he was like, yeah, we go in the kitchen and try and like look for snacks and stuff while the house is burning around us, and then we get to work.
Yeah. Wow. Is it just open season? Firefighters are welcome to anything?
I think so, dude. Yeah. Anything that's going to perish in the fire, they can have. And I am okay with that. And I would also allow that for my own home. I was like, if you're putting the fire out and you know that something's not fire or waterproof, you can have it. Have all of it.
Have all of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was the condition of the house? Was it
totally
bad?
destroyed? Totally destroyed all the way. And it was arson from a disgruntled employee.
Oh my!
An employee
God.
of whom?
A disgruntled former employee of the homeowner.
Oh my God! I have so many of those.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need a gate, you need a security system and a camera. And the hard part is that if it's a former employee, you have to assume they might not have a job. So like what kind of repercussions are in it for them other than going to jail? Like you're not getting them to pay for anything.
Yeah.
So very, very sad.
Wow.
And insane. And my friend who owns the house across the street saw the guy on the ring cam, on his own ring cam. Couldn't see what he was doing, but saw him walking around the house a little bit and then take off.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Wild.
All right. Well, let's bring in a hopefully ungruntled present employee. Brandon Donlin is here.
You just then took my joke, because I was going to say I'm gruntled and I'm not going to burn anything down.
Yeah,
you know,
very
is gruntled good? Do you want to be do you want to be gruntled and then if you get turned off, you're disgruntled?
I guess so, right? Because there's no
I've never heard of anybody who is gruntled. But Danny is on the road. Danny is on an adventure, and so we thought it'd be fun if Brandon Donlin jumped in today.
And this is my adventure. You know, Danny and I have different types of adventures. This is the one that I'd sign up for.
Gruntled is pleased, satisfied, contented.
We have to use gruntled more.
I'm quite gruntled.
Yeah, I'm gruntled as well. I'm very gruntled. I'm gruntled that Brandon's here. I'm gruntled that I get to see Rob again. And I'm gruntled with my coffee with honey in it. So, yeah, all the way gruntled. And Brandon, do you have any good stories about your, you don't have to say any stories, but Brandon also did some contract work for me. We didn't pay him anything, but we had a great time.
Tell them about what I did. Tell them about what he did. Tasks were.
Oh, no, he was a guest on my podcast.
Sure.
Yes.
Did you forget that, Brandon?
I didn't know if we were riffing, and then I was going to let you riff more, and then I was going to take the riff that you started.
Oh, no, I wasn't making anything up. You didn't remember that we were on a podcast?
I had the most fun ever on that podcast.
Dang it.
Only rivaling this one. You know, I was so gruntled on that podcast.
Yeah.
I hope to be more gruntled here today. I don't think I have any stories.
The great gruntling. Is this the great gruntling?
Yeah. This could be the great gruntling. I feel it. Danny's going to be upset he missed so much gruntling.
Dude, Danny's probably out there being super disgruntled with the elements. Yeah. While we're just having the gruntles of our lives.
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't have any material? You don't have any stories?
Can I tell? Oh, so we were at Tyson, Rob and I and a couple of our friends. We were at dinner the other day. Stephen Fishback included in this dinner. You're
what? That sounds incredible.
Yeah,
we had a great time.
I would have flown out for that.
Oh,
and I'm really right now. I'm into spicy pasta. We were at an Italian place, so I was trying to Google around for the spiciest pasta that I could get.
Wow.
So you were finding a restaurant that had a spicy pasta on the menu?
No, we were in
a
a
restaurant. Was found for us, but then I was just Googling the names. Everything's in Italian on the menu, trying to find the spiciest pasta.
Yeah,
and I couldn't tell from the name if the pasta had a meat in it, and then I wanted a meat, so I ordered. I said, "Can I get grilled chicken with
put
this?"
it on the
and
side.
The person who took the order looked very just confused. They didn't look like, So they brought my pasta filled with meat, more meat than pasta in the pasta. I did something wrong, and it was more of like it was a veal or something, and then just a side of. They've never done this before for any person who's been in this restaurant.
Yeah,
just a nice big clay pot of grilled chicken,
more meat,
and I ate all of it. I looked like a bodybuilder. That's what they would have assumed that I was doing was protein loading.
They thought that you just barely started going to a CrossFit gym and getting your macros and proteins. And,
yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Somebody said I had to hit like a 300-gram protein goal, and I said, "Yeah, give me the most meaty pasta with a side of the grilled chicken."
Yeah. Can I get the gallon of milk on the side also?
Yeah, they love that chocolate milk. Do they? Was it who took your order? Was it someone who didn't speak English as a first language? And did you try yelling and talking extra slow at them?
That's what Stephen Fishback did. And then I didn't want to follow that up. So I kind of talked to them on more of a, human to human level. And I tried, but they didn't warn me. They wanted me to feel the moment of putting down the chicken.
How spicy was it?
It was fine. I had the spiciest pasta somewhere, and it was phenomenal. I can't stop thinking about it. I forget where I was.
Wow.
And Italians make spicy pasta, or is this like a hybrid?
No, this was an Italian thing. I think I got like a spicy penne
arrabbiata. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Arrabbiata.
It was that, but I think with vodka sauce.
Okay.
I think it was, or maybe it wasn't. Who knows?
Who knows?
But listen, if you have an Italian restaurant, you're in the chat. Tell me, I'll fly. I'll go wherever, Some people that listen to this live in Italy, so I'll even go there.
That's true. We have I think Italy is one of our top 5 countries of listeners, so that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that
incredible?
Real?
I made that up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Top 500 for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love pranking people with lies. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we got so many different things to get to, and I haven't said anything on the show, but for many weeks, Brandon has been assisting us with finding the story. So I'm expecting Brandon Donlin to be a real expert sitting in the Danny chair of knowing everything that's going on in these stories.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
Ready to go. Okay. All right. Our top story at
me,
this
of
hour.
course, knowing nothing.
Yeah,
I come in
that's
totally cold.
Tyson's charm. Yes.
I know. I don't even know what Rob is about to say. I have no idea what stories happened this week. I'm so consumed with main character. That's me. That I have done no research whatsoever. Let's hear what do we got, Rob?
Well, Tyson, you're going to be a valuable resource on this story because it involves a zoo, actually a zoo in the Philippines, the site that you've spent many of your days.
Yes, many. 2 years, lived there for 2 years, and also one survivor there.
Yes. Did you ever visit K-Bug Island Mangrove and Wetlands Park?
No, but I would in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was where a 29-year-old tourist, Eric is his name, that he climbed into a crocodile enclosure to take a selfie with a crocodile statue.
That's going to make you disgruntled real quick.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But as a viewer, like if you're watching this go down and you can already tell that this guy's like unlikable, then maybe there's a part of you that's like, honey, we got to stick around here for a second. Let's
Stick
just
around.
see what's going on with this guy. Okay.
Yes, because it turns out the crocodile statue in question was actually a 15-foot crocodile, which tried to leg him and disarm him.
And was it successful?
It bit him on the arm and the leg, and it was, I believe they got him out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Eric.
50 stitches were required.
Yeah, and that's maybe like probably partly the zoo's fault that they didn't have like, these are real animals, not statues at this zoo. We don't know how all zoos operate. We can't speak for every zoo, but at this zoo, they're real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is the cage typically a giveaway that it's not a statue?
I think, yeah, and also like that the animal is living and breathing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That
Like,
would do it for me if
yeah.
it was if I could see it move.
Yeah.
If you can see it move, it's seldom a statue if it moves. The zoo that I grew up going to is the Cape May Zoo in Cape May, New Jersey, where the alligator enclosure, if you could call it that, is under you and you're on a bridge.
Yes.
So they're not in a cage, but you're bridged up.
That's how we are here in Phoenix Zoo too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, I have a pretty big fear of an alligator crocodile situation.
Really?
I won't even go into that part of the zoo.
Why?
Yeah, this is a long-standing.
Not
So-
even
That
with
based
me.
off of?
Not even with me. Father Nature.
If we held hands, maybe I'd feel better. But
I don't have a problem holding hands.
I'm 3 or 4 years old. I fall asleep on the couch in my house,
Yeah.
and I'm watching Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, whatever. And right when I woke up, the TV frame was an alligator, like, it did the mouth onto the camera move,
Yeah.
which Survivor has done quite a couple times. I had a document somewhere of all the times that it happened, so I knew to skip when it happened. I think in the first
Wow.
episode of Amazon, Rob, I believe there is one. If you go back
maybe.
and check
Yeah.
the tape.
Came in.
I'm terrified of the alligators. So I don't even, when I go to a zoo, which is seldom, I won't even attempt that area.
Mhm.
And I certainly wouldn't, even if best case scenario is that it's a statue. You know what I mean? That's I'm the least scared when it's a statue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
But if it's real, you're more scared probably.
I'm more scared. Probably. Yeah. I'm more scared if it's
that's
real.
So
And
yeah,
I don't
everything's
want to,
checking out.
I don't want to go anywhere near that thing. I think it's a scary animal. I mean, in terms of all the, on the Colbert Show, he does a thing with some guests where he asks who the scariest animal is. I don't see a case for anybody else but the
Hippo.
alligator.
Nothing scarier than a crocodile. I feel like a lion or a tiger or a bear. Oh my! All those things that could chase you. I think.
No,
are
listen
much
here,
scarier.
Rob. You've just hit it on the head here. Crocodiles run surprisingly fast, like 30 miles an hour.
30 miles an hour.
That is that right? Or is that
Google it right now. Google it right
Let's
now.
see.
That
I'm
just,
gonna ask Grok.
Yeah, ask Rock.
it
I
will
think that
it will get you. It will get you.
my argument against the lion or the tiger, whatever, is they are beautiful animals. Like they're a beautiful looking animal, or the crocodile is scary looking and also scary.
And
I
the
feel like you
hippo
have to
too. The
weigh
hippo,
those-
you're just like, oh, cute little marshmallow guy, and then it
Yeah.
chomps you in half.
Yeah, according to Grok, the croc can run at speeds up to 11 to 14 miles an hour on land.
Raw.
And a
Grok.
human's average sprint speed is 12 to 15
Grok,
miles per
please
hour.
show me crocodile running
humans-
30 miles an hour and put it in writing.
The human's average is 12 to 15 miles an
Sprint
hour
speed,
running.
yeah.
Oh.
Here we
Mhm.
go. I'm going to use Chat GPT, see if this
Doc
is
says
better.
American croc is 20 miles per hour. Saltwater, 15 to 18 miles per hour.
Yeah.
They have such tiny legs. I don't understand how they could go that fast.
I don't want to watch a video of it happening. I would
Mhm.
I would sooner piss myself than watch a video of a croc running at that speed.
Yes,
No,
please and
there
thank
is
you.
videos. Crocodile can 15 to 20 miles an hour. Yeah.
Still pretty fast.
Still pretty fast. It'll still surprise you.
Yeah.
I think you're getting there. You're like, oh, it's
Yes.
it's docile and it's not a problem.
Yeah. So
but it
the
can be a problem.
crocodile did its patented death roll, which is like its finishing move
On this man?
Yes.
He went straight for the finishing move.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't
Well, he-
outrun a croc. Steffers in
he-
the chat asked if I could. I can't.
He knows, this crocodile, that anybody who's jumping in is dumb. I think he knows, like, because then everybody would be jumping in. If he thought it
Mhm.
was a threat, then he, So I'd jump right to finishing move, certainly. I think what you're supposed to do, if I remember correctly, is you're
Like
supposed
on
to,
Mortal Kombat, you would immediately pull the dude's spine out.
right. I think the finishing move for the person to the alligators, you're supposed to poke its eyes out. I think I remember being taught that.
You go for the
event-
eyes on any of those. On any of those, you just jam your thumbs into the eyes as hard as you can, and just hope that you get released from the clutches of death.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you'd
So
be so close.
But
Be
that guy's
careful.
spinning, closing his eyes. I actually don't know what to do. I think you sit on top of the crocodile and then pinch its mouth shut because it doesn't have good opening muscles, just snapping muscles. But how do you get in that position when you're in its jaws?
Right.
it's tough.
Yeah.
He did survive, and the zoo is very much on alert to make sure nobody else tries to take a selfie with the crocodile, which was named Lele.
Sure.
Yeah,
They gave it a cute name to deceive you.
It did. Well, I bet the crocodile's disgruntled. He didn't get a free lunch. And the victim is gruntled that he's still alive. Eric.
Extremely gruntled.
Yeah, extremely gruntled.
That he did that.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. We've got some stories here that are okay, a little bit not for the faint at heart. Okay.
So if you have a faint heart,
If
GTFO.
you have a faint heart, okay, so and these are going to be some we have a few scatological stories to share with you today. Okay.
That means poop, Brandon.
Yes.
Oh yeah. No, I
Oh,
found
he
the
knows.
stories. So
He knows.
I'm all schooled up.
We're talking
Okay.
scatology.
Yeah.
You're talking
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, how often do you fly out of the Philadelphia airport?
My whole life.
Yeah.
And
okay.
not until recently I moved to the New York area, but I was 15 minutes from the Philadelphia airport.
You
All right.
were? So all the times I went out to lunch with Jerv on my layovers, you could have been joining us.
I would have been there in 10 minutes.
Dang.
I never got invited, I guess, because I was 15 and you didn't.
And
you
on
didn't know
Twitter.
me, but
I knew
Yeah, on
of you,
Twitter.
though.
You
I
knew
knew
of me,
of
yeah.
you.
we would have had such a nice. Where did you go with Jerv? You get a cheesesteak? Is that what the meal was?
No, I think it was breakfast. We went to breakfast somewhere. It was like in the middle of the day, and I just had like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Next
that's
time.
how you know Tyson is a great guy, because all these people like meet him at airports and stuff like that. Like nobody's ever like, hey, wait, you got a connection? I'll be there. Let's have a meal.
I would be there.
Okay.
If
Well, I
you were
gotta
in
go through-
Phoenix for 2 hours, I would drive. That's 25 minutes. I would drive. I would meet you at the airport. We'd just eat at a restaurant outside the gates.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
I would do that.
And then you got to just go back through security.
Yeah.
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 The
It's usually not too bad.
at the Philadelphia airport, if you leave terminals, you got to go back through security. That's probably a thing everywhere. But the one terminal has a really good food court. So I have a couple times I've bit the bullet and gone back through so I could go to the nice food court.
Yeah, but you're flying first class, so you always get to go through the priority line.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They escort me through, and I eat at the plebeian food court. I want the Panda Express in Terminal D because I know that I'm going to be able to catch up when I go through the private. It's just me in there.
All right. Well, let me tell you about a harrowing tale took place. Southwest flight, Philadelphia to Chicago, where a woman reportedly removed all of her clothes and defecated on her seat during the flight's landing. This took place as they were getting ready to land in Chicago.
And are you supposed to do that? Is that in the fine print somewhere that I hadn't read? Or
Well, I wonder since if they are landing, I wonder if one of these situations where she needs to go and they're like, ma'am, you are not allowed to be up out of your seat. And then
So I don't want to be on a no-fly list at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to shit your pants, you ignore them yelling at you to get in your seat and you go to the restroom.
Yeah,
It happens all the time. And people argue and argue and argue. And the flight attendants are like, We have to tell you to get back in your seat. Wink, wink. We can't stop you from going to the bathroom. Wink, wink.
But some people, they ignore the wink, wink. And I've seen this, I feel like, in these like different videos when these incidents are filmed. Like the flight attendant is like, no, you cannot do. Like, okay, fine, have it your way.
Yeah.
And then they then say, then I'm going to use my seat as the potty because I'm going to show you.
Yep. Taught everybody a lesson.
Teach everybody a lesson.
I was confused at because the article title has the word allegedly in here, which I feel like is there alleged? Is it alleged when there's proof?
I think that she's allegedly strips naked. Might be part of it. So, and no word about a top also because I feel like is pantsless naked. Passenger allegedly strips naked and defecates in her seat on a flight to Chicago.
Can we give her a shout out? What's her name?
I don't know if she's mentioned in either of the stories that I'm seeing about this incident.
Yeah.
It might be Eric. We don't know that it's not Eric.
It's Eric. I mean,
the same guy.
Yeah.
After the death roll, though, I bet he has a hard time controlling his bowels anyways.
Sure.
Southwest Airlines gave a statement. Nothing is more important to Southwest than the safety of our customers and employees, and we appreciate the professionalism of our flight crew.
Wrong. They lied about all of that. Fuck you, Southwest.
You hate, you know what, Tyson, the thing that I've loved most about you in the many years I followed you on Twitter is you're tweeting about the airline. When you have a bad airline experience, you're letting everybody know that it was bad. I feel like I've seen you American a few times you've had the worst experience.
Well, that's because they fly American. They're the main hub here. It's in Phoenix. The American is, so I fly them the most.
Yeah. And we have so many other stories to get to. Okay, so that's just one story we have to get to. But Brandon, I know that you coming from the Pennsylvania area, can you give us the story of the Delco pooper?
The Delco pooper is on the loose.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent a lot of time in Delaware County, Delco. They and so have a lot of our friends are from the Delco area. I've been moved up in the New York City area longer than the Delco pooper has been on the loose.
Active.
I may need to be refreshed on the details of what the Delco pooper is.
So there's an active pooper?
There's an active poop. Oh, there's an active pooper. Yeah. I think they're pooping on the hoods of the cars. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. Updated. Yeah. I think that we were talking about this, about the nobody knew what was going on with the Delco pooper, but they got her. Delco pooper has been apprehended. Christina Marie Solomento, 44-year-old from Ridgely Park. The alleged Delco pooper. During a road rage dispute, she allegedly exited her vehicle, appeared pantsless, not naked, pantsless, and defecated on the hood of another driver's car. The act was captured on video. And how about that? You get into some sort of like roadside altercation with somebody, and then they go and pop a squat on the hood of your car.
Oh my gosh. That's why, and
drop anchor on you.
I always drive defensively, where I always leave a gap where I can take plan B or plan C based on if somebody's about to poop on my car. That wasn't the thought about the poop, but like, you never know if somebody's going to come up behind you and then get out and come right over to your window and stuff. So I always leave myself some outs so that I can just drive away. But this is crazy did she pee and poop, or did she do a poop without even peeing, which is even more psychotic to even imagine, like she held her pee in while she pooped.
Well,
there's intent with that you don't want that intent.
So after there was video of the incident, then the police used the video to track her down. That the woman said,
I've heard no two buttholes are the same, so it's easy if you're in the database to track down a butthole.
That's the easiest way to track you down.
Yeah.
That she said, I wanted to punch her in the face, but I pooped on her car instead and went home. And she said it was a clean poop that didn't require any wiping. I don't know if that's better or worse.
That's what you have to say in that moment, because they're like, she didn't even wipe. She's gross. And she's like, no, it was actually a clean ghost poop.
And you can't even call it a clean poop if you don't wipe, right? Like you don't know.
You don't know.
It's unknown.
Yeah. You have to see the toilet paper to determine whether or not it's actually a clean poop.
So, Brandon, the video came out, and there was a lot of attention around the Delco pooper, and
shout out Delco,
that they allegedly identified the woman in question, Christina, and they sent her the video, and she replied on Facebook, "Stop sending this to me. Stop tagging me. That was not me. It's up my alley, but I can't claim this Delco fame."
Yeah. I don't think you ever want to, if you did the crime, you don't ever want to tell people it could have been me.
It was brilliant. I wish that was me, because that was ingenious, but no, I can't take credit for it. It wasn't me.
I think it's insane to be like in the heat of road rage battle and then be able to squirt one out like right there, just like fucking on this, because usually it takes a little time, some relaxing and scrolling your phone for a little bit. So
yeah. And squirting implies the existence of a not clean poop, but this was a clean, but this was more just a drop. And she could have been really needing to, like, she's rushing home to get this
like
done.
A power dump.
And then she PD.
Yeah, she PD'd on the hood of the car instead.
This could have been in front of, this is a very Delco story, but it could have been in front of a Wawa, which would make it the most Delco story. This always happens in front of Wawa.
It does. Is that where we're not supposed to go?
No, that's where you're going every day to Wawa. It's just like everybody's in Wawa every day, so this kind of stuff happens more often because it's just where you are. You got to go to Wawa.
Yeah. Steffers is faint of heart. She's, that's pretty people don't poop.
It's true.
So I do wonder, is it possible like this person is in gastrointestinal distress? Maybe that's the reason why they're driving a little crazy on the road.
Yeah, I'll drive crazy on the road and also be like, I know that if I get pulled over, I'm going to be like, I'm going to piss my pants. So you can let me piss my pants or you can let me go.
If you ever see me on a podcast, just abruptly end the show, that's might be what's going on.
Yeah. Like near the end of the show, if I'm doing like this a little bit,
yeah,
side
it's like,
to
all
side.
right, Tyson, you got plugs, but whatever. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Klarna.
Yeah, Klarna.
Tell the craziest story publicly that happened.
I don't know. I don't know if we're running out of time. Gotta go. Bye. Okay.
There you go.
I'm ready for this story. Wait, you're not the Delco. Yes. You're not the Delco pooper.
I'm not the Delco pooper, but I pooped in the Delco area recently.
Okay.
We were in October. We had an event, Tyson, in Philadelphia. Okay. The I Stand Cagayan premiere event.
Okay. Yes.
Where I got eating with Rob. I didn't get spicy pasta. I got a different thing. I got a po' boy. I got severe food poisoning in the middle of the show. I was talking with somebody. I won't say their name, but they listen to this podcast. I was talking with a fan. And then I said, excuse me, I have to go. I have to throw up. I'm going to throw up. Go to the bathroom. I throw up. They shut the movie theater down. They locked me in.
Up?
No, I was in the bathroom
while you were gone.
While I was gone, so I had
every kid's dream. So you watched every movie that they had there.
I watched that movie.
I think they showed Conclave right before they showed our Cagayan documentary.
Dude. Oh, is that right? That's funny.
Yeah.
So I knock on the door, whatever. I go to the after party bar because I'm always there for the party. I'm ready for step 2. And then it started to happen where it was no longer a throw up situation, but I could feel Delco pooper if I had an alibi. It sounds like something I would have done. I'll put it that way. So I had to rush home, and I live about 25 minutes away, my parents. And I was driving very angrily. So in the event that I got in a road rage incident, I could have seen a world where this happened to me. You know what I mean? It would not have been clean.
Not bad poop.
Listen, what can you do?
Yeah. Danny,
it's a memory I'll have forever.
Danny, our former co-host, he historically, I don't know if he's ever shared this on the podcast. He holds his poop in for as long as he can till he can poop in like 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll
for productivity. What's the reason?
Because he doesn't want to sit on a toilet seat, so he'll hover. But so then he's like hovering takes some leg strength and some energy.
Is that why he has such a girthy quads?
That's partly why he's so meaty. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Wow.
So Danny Bryson workout.
I'll take a page out of the DB book.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's healthy to hold it in and then just force it out as quickly as possible. That could cause some tearing.
We'll find out when he gets his colonoscopy this year.
Yeah. I have my Cologuard box sitting on my table for the last week. I just think I have to poop in it and send it back.
You have to poop in the box for the Cologuard?
I haven't opened it to read the instructions, but it's something like that. Yes.
Yeah. I bet there's an intermediate step. I bet you don't poop right into the box.
You poop into a cup and then put a lid on it and then put it in the box.
That's what I suspect.
Yeah. Have you not done yours yet, Rob?
I went for the real deal.
The real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should probably, but I'm having a hard time even just pooping in this cup at home.
Yeah. I heard there's a video online that shows you how to do it.
The one with 2 girls.
So you made that joke last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it back to you.
We should. Can we watch that now? Should we watch that?
I don't know if you can watch it now.
We had that theater rented out. It's a shame we watched that documentary, you know?
Yeah.
That wasn't part of it.
On YouTube? Like, how did some people have access to that?
Yeah.
I feel like
to what?
You know,
2 girls in a cup. I think it was on YouTube, or
did they just have like they couldn't stop? People were like putting stuff on YouTube and they had no way to stop the stuff that was.
They couldn't monitor it. They were like there because they have people there that monitor stuff. But now honestly, they do. I'd never seen that video. I heard of it and I just assumed it was on YouTube, like in the nether regions of YouTube. Like, is there like a part where you can go where it's just like all gross and
I don't think because I don't think there was like anything like X-rated on there. Yeah, college humor, Steffer says.
Thanks, Steffers. Steffers has the plug.
Yeah, she's got the plug.
My generation of folks is like all of us saw it because we had like a weird older cousin who showed it to us. You know what I mean? That's
wait, you saw it?
I mean, for a second, everybody's got a weird cousin who's like, hey, watch.
And that was more less unsettling than the crocodile biting the camera.
Yeah, I have a fear of both. You know, I think both I'm pretty terrified of for sure.
Okay.
People send me pictures of crocodiles, and then I'll have to have like my girlfriend or whoever like delete the picture off my phone. Like I won't be able to delete it. That would be the same if somebody sent me this piece of film.
So if I send you jump scares of crocodiles chomping at cameras, that will ruin your day, or that will be like startling, or what's the plan? What should I do?
I don't. I'm going to tell you this because I like you a lot. I don't want you to do that because I will have to have my girlfriend delete it off my phone. I really, but it's like I'm leading with honesty because if I told you that, no, that wouldn't bother me, I think you'd still do it. I think it's going to happen either way at some point. So it's easier for me to tell you I don't want you to do it.
Has this ever happened, though? Has there really been a picture that you've gotten that's so scary that you had to have your girlfriend delete the message on your phone?
And do you think that's the difference between your generation, Brandon, and ours, Robin, and my generation?
I would be more scared to, even if there was something that was like the most terrifying thing I've ever seen, I would be more scared to ask my wife to delete the scary picture than to deal with the scary picture.
Because she'd never let you live it down.
Yes.
I'm Rob, and I can't look at a picture.
Yes. Yeah, I never want my wife to know my insecurities.
Yeah, no, you hide all of those.
That's the last person I would tell them to.
The fact that you have your girlfriend knowing about your insecurities, Brandon, is insane that she knows that much about you.
Yeah, and that was
I would reveal them on a podcast 100 times before I told my wife.
Oh, yeah. I would share them with complete strangers before I tell my wife anything.
38 minutes into News AF, perfect place to reveal it. About to tell her? You crazy?
My lucky number. Listen. Don't nobody do that. Keep our relationship good,
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, this story reminded me of Brandon Donlin, so I'll bring this up because that just like how the movie theater closed with Brandon Donlin still in the bathroom, United Airlines has had a recurring problem where flight attendants are leaving sleeping passengers on empty planes after everybody else gets off.
I wish they would leave me alone, dude. It's like, why are you
wake up on the plane?
Yeah, you wake up on the plane anywhere and you're just like, where am I? I can't like, I don't know why that sleep hits different, but like you literally are just like, what happened to me?
Now, this has happened to me on the train, but they wake me up on the last stop. I have in my younger, drinking days, I have hey, you wanted to get off like 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This is the last stop. But they wake me up. What are they're just leaving these people on empty planes?
I used to get left in church sometimes when I was a kid, sleeping. You'd be sleeping, and then everybody would break off to go to their classes, and then you'd wake up in the chapel by yourself and be like, well, thank God I don't have to go to class.
Are you dismissed then for the day? Or you're going home after that, or you're going to go to class late?
You're going to go to class late. You're going to wander in. Everybody knows what happened. You wander in sleepy-eyed and be like, yeah. And then
that's nice, though. I would expect the teacher to, the religious teachers. I had quite a few. They would wake you up.
Well, these guys aren't paid. They're all volunteer, and it's just like, oh, Brandon, you're part of the congregation. Okay, you're the teacher for the 12 and unders. Do you need formal training? No. What you got to do is just here's a lesson manual. Yeah, sure. That's how it went. That's how
it's easier to just let them sleep at that point.
Yeah.
Tyson, I feel like that this could be like the plot of like a new Home Alone. Oh, that basically like Kevin McAllister falls asleep on the plane, and then like nobody wakes him. It's a United flight.
Yeah, it's a United. I love that.
And then he wakes up like the next plane takes off, and then he wakes up in a different city.
Yeah. So this is what happens. So the mom triple checks that he's on the right flight, and he's on the right flight. Everything's going to plan. And we're like,
we did it. We got Kevin on the plane this time.
We got him on the plane this time. This will never happen again. And United, full pan of United, and then United corporate being like, we've been leaving sleeping passengers on the plane. And that's just foreshadowing to the film. And you're like, oh shit, dude. Actually, this dude's about to get Home Alone.
Brandon, what happens in Home Alone 2? How does he end up in New York and nobody else is there?
He follows the wrong guy through the airport.
He gets to the wrong
on the connection.
Not on the connection. Initially, they get to the airport late. They're like, we slept in again. They get to the airport. They run around. Kevin is fiddling with the batteries in his toy, in his recorder. And then he follows a guy that's dressed like his dad. And then he bumps into the ticket agent, and she drops all the tickets. And he's like, my ticket's in there, and my dad just got on. She's like, I'm going to walk you on the plane. If you see your dad, he saw the guy dressed like his dad and goes, that guy's my dad. And then sits down. And then he met Donald Trump.
And then he did, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully, United Airlines that they're gonna cut back. It's not only United Airlines, but they are the ones that are talking about this.
Yeah. You know my saying. I've written a jingle for it too. The worst airline in the world is all of them.
Yeah. Although this is like, I guess like this isn't the worst thing that could happen.
No, I'd rather this happen to me than sit next to the lady pooping on her chair.
Yeah.
Because there's pee coming out too, dude. That's the thing.
There's pee coming out.
Yeah.
And she's stripped naked, which I never do when I poop. I just take
allegedly. She might have just taken her bottoms off. I'd be very surprised if she took her top off too.
Either way, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, that doesn't detract from me.
More or less. Maybe she was wearing some kind of like one piece thing, and then she took the whole thing off.
Yeah. Oh, like a jumper.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, best case scenario, she's in like a muumuu, so she uses it as like a standing.
That's best case scenario.
Yeah, because then she doesn't have to take it off. She can just like umbrella the whole situation, so you're not having to like see any of it. You just
that's best case scenario for the airline, for the cleanup crew, certainly. For her, less so, because then she's sitting in it.
Well, no, you squat it with the muumuu like umbrellaed over you, like as a privacy shield.
Heard. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Believe it or not, I have another airplane story. This one comes from a Lufthansa flight. I don't think I've ever flown on Lufthansa.
I have. German.
Yeah. You like it?
I mean, it's one of the worst airlines in the world.
Okay. So this happened when on a flight from Los Angeles to Munich, when a passenger's iPad became lodged in a business class seat. And there was a safety concern that the iPad would overheat from the lithium ion battery, and they had to take precautionary measures and land the plane in Boston because somebody dropped their iPad in between the seats.
You can't just like hold the power button down and get it turned off.
Apparently not.
Pull it out.
Crazy.
I would.
This was
I would be so enraged. I would do multiple tweets.
461 passengers were
multiple
affected.
tweets. Yeah, it's like,
I'd
okay,
go home. I wouldn't go to Germany.
Yeah, owner of the iPad has to pay for everyone's 6-hour whatever turnaround time. Like that's where we should be with airlines. If you, as a single person on an on a flight, cost everyone on the flight time plus potentially future passengers because your plane is late to where it's going to pick up other people, there should be some repercussions.
But Tyson, are you mad at the person who dropped their iPad? I don't think the person who like dropped their iPad was
if they can't get it
screaming
out
for them.
I mean, I don't know. I think at that point, why say anything? Why be like, excuse me, my iPad's stuck. Should we land the plane?
No, I'm sure maybe the guy said like, or I don't know if it was a guy or a woman. And like, oh, is there anything you could do? My iPad is stuck. And then the flight attendants were like, oh, we got a stuck iPad. That's a fire hazard.
Fucking drop the plane. And then
we need to land. Call the FAA.
Yeah. Emergency landing. They probably landed
those
like in a lake. And
Samsung Galaxies used to explode, right?
Yeah, I think
we got rid of them,
do.
right? Yeah, were people still using that?
There's got to be people still using that. I mean, you think they're all exploded by now?
You have to imagine. 10 years ago, if they were going to explode imminently in 2015, they're done for now.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But that's tough. At least, if you're going to Germany and you land in Boston, it's not a horrible trade. Like in terms of you land in a fun city, if you land in like Des Moines or somewhere bad, that's less bad. That's less good.
But what if you're from Boston?
Yeah.
Lufthansa was doing a $99 flight from LA to Munich. So you flew from Boston to LA to take advantage of this $99 flight opportunity, only to then
get off and go to Luigi's Pizza.
Yeah. And then which you just had for breakfast that morning. And then 19 hours later, as you circle back through, you got to have breakfast again there before you get to Germany.
Yeah, so be careful with maybe grease your iPads before you take them on the plane.
You got to grease them. And I think there's not enough people. Even if in the moment you don't have grease with you, use some chapstick, covered in chapstick or something like that. Get it slippery.
Yeah.
The plane, they'll have something to offer you too. If you ask, like, hey, I want to grease my iPad, they'll give you something.
That's. I think as you get on, they're like, shut down your electronics and grease anything larger than a cell phone.
Yeah. We're coming around with headphones and also grease, a big Vaseline tub for you to just take a dollop of and get your guy.
Just in case it gets wedged in between anything.
I can't imagine how it got so wedged that they could not fish it out.
Yeah.
Like, did they have to rip the whole plane apart? They were like, sorry, everybody, it's going to take 17 days. We have to dismantle the whole plane and put it back together. Like,
I don't know. But so can I tell you, I came back from New York. I was on a flight on Delta, very delayed also. I mean, it was bad weather, but I was just like, I just wanted to get home. And it was a small plane, and I had to check my bag. And I had like a backpack that they said, okay, you have to gate check it. Okay,
Worst.
fine. So then there's like this little tiny elevator. You ever see that where they have like the bags that they put under the plane
in the rain?
And now, I go to get my bag out, and the strap for my book bag is somehow stuck on this thing. I cannot unwedge it, and I'm like pulling it down, and I look down, and I'm like, this elevator, it's like an elevator shaft that I'm now stepping into. I'm like, I'm going to Final Destination myself here. I'm like, I'm not going to like fight to like pull this down and then fall down the elevator shaft. And then I had to like get help. They had to like go get on the walkie-talkie. They're like, boy, it's really stuck in there. They set the elevator back down. Some guy is talking like another language, like down in the pits of the airport hell. Finally, they send it back up. I just wanted to leave.
Yeah. Why you should have just just unzipped it, taken everything you needed, and left the bag on the thing.
I guess so. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, you don't need the bag.
Yeah,
they have bags. Like if there's no shortage of bags around those parts.
Yeah.
The worst thing is when I'm not super scared of flying in my current life, but beforehand I'd be terrified.
I mean, it sounds like you are if you're gonna have to lead with that.
Well, I mean, I've
Used
made a
to
lot
be.
of strides.
Used
You
to be.
know,
Okay, good for you, Brandon.
and well, hey, thanks. And I'm, the worst thing that would happen is I'm death gripping the seat for 6 hours, and then somebody loses an AirPod, and then it becomes that scavenger hunt search. I gotta get up. Like, leave me alone. I'm having to do this myself. You know what I mean? I can't help you right now. You have to help
Should they
me.
grease the AirPods too, or is that going to make more problems?
Grease everything. Get all your stuff. Get all your stuff lubed up
Grease
before you
everything.
fly.
Brandon
Yeah.
Donlin.
Yeah.
I've always said it.
I had a lady who wanted me to trade her daughter seats, but I had an aisle and her daughter had a middle. And I was like, she's like, I need to sit by my daughter so I can hold her hand while I'm flying because because I'm horrified. It was this old woman. She's like, I'm horrified of flying. And I was like, I'm not trading an aisle for a middle. I will hold your hand. And she's like,
oh, that's nice.
I thought she was just fibbing with me, but I was like willing to do that over take a middle seat. And she did. She just grabbed my hand as hard as she could while we took off and while we landed. And I was like, whatever.
And those are the least scary parts of the flying operation. The scary part of flying is just being up there. For me, who cares if we're going up and down? I hate just living in it for 3 hours.
I always take solace in knowing that if anything did happen, it would be instant. So I'm more afraid of like long-term pain forever and ever than I am of instant death.
But I don't know if it's necessarily instant. I feel like a lot of times it's like, we're going down, and you kind of
totally
are
fine.
living with that.
Yeah, and
for
you're
a
like,
bit.
okay, we're going down. Everybody take all your clothes off and poop on your seat. Just one last thing we can all do before we and then they end up landing it, and we're all just sitting in our shit as they like the rescuers come on. They're like, what happened on here? You're like, whatever happens on planes that thought they weren't going to make it stays on planes that thought they weren't going to make it. Yeah.
The best advice that I was given that made me feel better was actually Joel Klug from season 1 of Survivor. Great guy. Said that you're either going to die or you're either going to make a lot of money if you're in a plane crash. And that made me feel better. It's like, it's either I find riches or I don't have to worry about it because I'll be dead.
I have weird daydreams about being the sole survivor of a plane thing and just like putting the airlines out of business because of the settlement they have to pay me for.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, well, I have to go to therapy for witnessing 500 people not being here anymore.
And you've been the sole survivor already, so you'd think that they'd be like, he's done this. He's fine with this.
The press would have a field day with that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sure would.
Now, Danny's not here. So, Brandon, are you ready for Donlin's bolt hole?
Yeah,
wait, he has a bolt hole?
Well,
I mean,
I guess
about to make one.
You can pick. Yeah. You
so here's what we're gonna do.
You want to tell us?
Let's play the music.
Okay.
Let's have 15 seconds of silence for Danny. I thought about a minute, but that's way too long, dude, for us to sit here and stare. I'll start the timer for 15 seconds once the music stops, and then I'll tell.
Okay,
Brandon
so it's a moment of
go.
silence after Danny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to my bolt hole. I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna feel you belong. A nocturnal emission. A very sexy seduction.
We're good. Danny, R.I.P., buddy.
Amen. Now, should I have a talking point? Would that be good?
I think this is when you have a talking point.
You seem unfamiliar with this segment of the show.
I forget so Danny has a hot take, or he's
Danny has another story. He's bringing his own story that didn't get talked about.
Okay. See here, look. There's a Pirates fan who fell.
I saw that.
PNC Park. He did. He fell
multiple
21
stories. Feet. Yeah, 21 feet.
And that to me, it's now. I don't know. I wasn't there, but the video, like he was really lunged over. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you're gonna sit in one of those seats, don't lunge over.
I'm going to tell you, and this is going to make me sound like a horrible person. I've been to places like this where you're up on those, second tiers, and some drunk asshole is leaning over and he's in everybody's way. And those aren't even his seats. He wandered down from up higher and he's standing on the very front against the railing and he's leaning over, and you're looking around like security needs to either drag this guy away or he needs to fall because he's annoying everybody at how drunk he is, and I hate it. And I don't wish death upon almost anybody. I don't wish death upon this man for sure, but like they either need to not serve alcohol at these places, make those railings way higher, or have security on the lookout for these drunk doofuses who are leaning way over. And this dude ragdolled all the way off this thing, flopped on the ground.
I didn't see the video of this.
I don't want to watch the video again, but I did see the video. My solve would be like a behavior incentive where for 5 innings, they don't sell those seats. And there's a couple guys walking around looking at who's the best behaved people. And then they get to be brought down and they sit in those seats. And they get to enjoy the last 4 innings. I think that's fair. You don't get any of those guys who can maybe pay the money, but they're drunk. I don't know if this guy was drunk. I shouldn't say.
So according to this story, that they say that the fan who fell consumed 2 beers but didn't buy them. This is a little sus.
So
he's 20.
Colleen in our chat, who has ties to Pittsburgh, says he was intoxicated, but 2 beers doesn't sound like enough to be intoxicated. And he jumped up in excitement and went overboard. He was 21 and lost both his parents.
He lost both his parents
to the same exact thing. Just kidding. I don't.
Oh.
Can you imagine? There's like, it's only ever happened 3 times in the history of MLB.
Yeah. And the whole time leading up to the game is like, are you sure you want to go? It seems crazy you want to even be in this place. But
yeah. So, So witnesses say intoxication is what Colleen is saying. And that's why I said they have to have security. They have to have higher railings, or they can't have alcohol at these things. Because I've seen it so many times. I've watched people where I'm like, I've even called security and been like, this guy's going to fall. You should watch him. And they'll go stand and they'll watch him like lean over the thing. And I'm like, that's you guys. And they're like, oh, we'll talk to him. It's like, it's going to take more than talking, because they're like, hey, don't fall. And he's like, okay. And he remembers that for like 20 seconds. And then he's like leaning over again. So
yeah. Brandon, what was it about that story that intrigued you?
That was
the first
so
thing.
Funny.
It was the first thing I saw on the New York Post when I opened it in the 15 seconds of silence. I had nothing prepared for that.
Yeah. Okay, but you prepared a whole list of stories for this podcast. None of the other stories that you pulled interested you.
Yeah.
You
I
went
was
off
a different
the board.
person then. I went off the board. I don't remember that. That was yesterday.
You went
I'm
off
a
the
different
menu
guy now.
Yeah,
I went off menu. Let's see here. Is there anything?
No, too late. That's your story.
We want to let's do a redo for neighbors demand answers after rampant masturbation takes over Seattle Park.
I think we got the gist of that.
Yeah, that could be something.
Yeah,
could it?
I mean, not for me. I don't want to do it. I'm not participating.
I mean, we said you could pick any story in the world, and that was literally the one you wanted to talk about.
That jumped out at you.
Oh, that guy jumped out. I didn't jump out.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
No, there's in Seattle, Washington. There's a nude beach where some folks are saying that there is rampant public masturbation happening.
I don't think that are nude beaches even allowed in the United States? I didn't think that was a thing. I thought you used to have to fly to France and wear a beret.
Yeah. I would think it's pretty cold in Seattle to have a nude beach.
Yeah. And if I know anything about nude beaches, which I don't fully, but it's not usually the people that, it's not like you go there and it's just like supermodels of all genders, just like hanging out, flaunting their stuff. Like if that was the case, everyone would go to nude beaches. But then if everybody's at nude beaches, then again, it's not all going to be models again, because
Yeah.
everyone's wants to go see the models. So yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even know. Like, I guess your mileage may vary for rampant, because it
Yeah.
sounds like I think that they arrested 13 people in 15 months.
That's pretty rampant.
That's pretty
feels
like
rampant.
one a
I
month.
mean, one a
Well,
month is rampant. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That seems like a bad place to be. And
Mhm.
Mel Hooker in the chat saying there's a nude beach in Vermont, which is even colder than Seattle.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Vermont in the summer and it's muggy and hot, but I also think like and again, I'm a nude beach novice, but I think that one of the things when you go to a place that's like nudist or nude beach is it's like none of it's sexualized. And that's like that's like rule number one is just go and be chill and don't stare and just like, you're just enjoying your freedom. You're not enjoying other people's freedoms as well. So, yeah. So I think that these 13 people are doing it wrong.
And we don't even know that it's 13 people. It could have been 4 people 13 times. Do we know that it's 13 people?
Yeah, I think it was 13 different arrests were made. I don't know if it's the same person who keeps getting arrested.
Could be
over and
one
over
really
again.
fucked up guy that was
Yeah.
arrested 13 times. They keep letting him out.
Yeah. Okay.
But we don't
All
know.
right.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, now at this point in the show, we take all of the things we talked about, we combine them all together to make one beautiful image representing this episode of the podcast. And we ask our friends over the AI overlords to help us with this project.
Yeah.
Okay.
El Klarna.
Okay.
Arna.
Are you open to on a public podcast asking AI to make an image?
Yeah. I think this is fair.
Okay.
You giveth and you taketh away with AI. You know, I'm going to give it a prompt and it's going
We only do it because there's no human who could
ever
make
do
this
it.
image.
It would take too long.
So take
but I think the one
a
today is
million
pretty
different
easy.
Stories. Yes.
Just a poop, right? Is that? Did we talk about anything
I don't know
else?
if it'll make a picture of poop.
Okay.
Let's try a poop.
I know we might have to have a crocodile in the picture, Brandon.
Yeah, crocodile. Is that okay?
I think it'll be okay.
Make
I'm
it
going to
not realistic.
What if a crocodile was on a plane?
What about a crocodile statue?
A crocodile.
Crocodile statue on a plane.
Yeah.
Looking for a greased iPad.
Yeah.
Looking for a greased iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A woman pooping.
Woman
by.
pooping next. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This reads like a poem.
Yeah. You have to write it in poem form. It's is it a haiku?
There, I could make it a haiku.
I don't think you need a haiku for ChatGPT. I mean, we could tell ChatGPT everything we talked about, and it can make a haiku. But I don't think that giving it the haiku would help with a. Actually, we could do 2 steps. Step one is take our show and turn it into a haiku, and then make an image from the haiku.
So I have an image generating now.
Okay.
This is a visual image generated.
I mean, I hope it's not a crocodile picture, or your girlfriend is going to have to come in and delete it off the computer.
Is she on standby?
She's not home, so I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to just
hunker down.
Yeah.
Email it to her.
Fetal position till she gets back.
I'll have my landlord come over. I'll call them.
Make sure at the end. Did you say please and thank you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, this is interesting. They
Okay.
really did something good.
That's
Now,
some really good news for us.
Where do I send this? Where should this
Just can
go?
you share it in the chat?
Oh yeah, can I do that?
Yeah, you can try.
Okay, the private. Okay, hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh.
I see what you're saying. Present. Okay, let's see.
Please present that to us.
Make
sure you don't have any other windows open, like Girl Cup movie.
Yeah, I closed that before we got on.
Okay. All right, so here we go. So Brandon Donald has this image, and so here is a what's in the tray?
I think that's poop, Rob. I think that's poop in the tray.
That's the poop. They caught it. They caught it in the tray.
The prompt was a crocodile statue on a plane looking for a greased iPad.
He found it.
A woman pooping close by. They nailed close by. This
Did
is
you
what I
have anything with the pirates or no?
I said there's Pittsburgh Pirates memorabilia somewhere close.
Yes,
And
very good.
they took to that instruction because it's all over.
Very good.
That's pretty good. The only thing is and this is
Okay.
now
That's
what's going on here.
This is the
that
second
is
one.
poop coming out of the chin of the crocodile.
Sure. And this is
Yeah.
my favorite player on the Pirates. This last name here with the 33.
Grass spin number
Yeah.
33.
I have
You like him better than
Greenspan, I
Pigadita?
think. Yeah.
Yeah,
He looks like he's
Pigadita.
throwing up. Like
Yeah. Don't say that.
You know,
Don't,
this isn't
don't say
scaring
that.
you?
Nicole in the chat
No,
is
this one's-
scared
is-
of throw up.
This isn't real. This is AI, you know?
Mhm.
It really,
Yeah.
this one is scarier for sure than this one. But
Mhm.
this is not.
You've already convinced your brain that these aren't real, and so you're fine.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's humanized as he's having an embarrassing experience.
That's
Maybe
true. It
that's-
makes
So
sense.
yeah, so
Makes
do
him
you
so-
feel like that you've overcome your fears by
Yeah.
watching this?
Maybe.
makes
maybe
him
I just-
less threatening. You just need to envision them.
Yeah.
Envision them always pooping out of their chin a little bit.
Yeah. AI
Sure.
is helping you.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
This
glad
is
we
a
did
good-
that, everybody.
This
Yeah,
is
I
a
got
new
one-
use for AI.
Yeah, I've got one in the chamber for you also, Tyson,
Okay,
if you
let's
want to
see
if
it.
you want to give it a second. Well, let's get Tyson's plugs while we're waiting for it to develop. And this is the nice thing about AI now. It's a little bit like taking a Polaroid picture. You're like, you ask for it, and then it's like
Takes a little
It
time.
takes a little while. It's
Gotta
developing.
put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Best things in life do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do. This week
Like,
we have.
it's just like, it's still like, we'll give it.
Oh, it's still
shake it
generating.
like
I
shake
thought
it like a Polaroid picture.
I thought the crocodile was pooping, so it was blurring it out.
No. Oh, here he is. Okay.
There's his iPad is
Yeah.
going in a seat back without a seat.
Wow.
And
Why
there's
is yours better than mine?
Is it better? The woman's
it feels
there.
better.
Is
The
this-
woman's that's the pooper. She hasn't pooped yet, though.
Yes, she's waiting for the laboratory.
Yeah. She's waiting. She's
Yeah.
waiting.
I do like, and not to play favorites, I do like this because I feel like it's simpler. There's less
Yeah.
there's less going on here, but it
Okay.
tells a story, and he's
That's
losing
fine.
his iPad, and he's
Yeah.
getting it stuck in the
He's
seat.
about to be stuck in the seat.
Mhm.
Yeah, tomorrow we have Dylan Efron on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Covering Survivor with us.
Yeah, what a
And,
get.
What a get. And then we have synchronized swimming competition in Las Vegas. I am driving both kids to Las Vegas, doing Bergen's hair while Rachel goes to her cousin's wedding,
Get the gelatin ready.
getting the gelatin ready. And it smells like wet dog. Like it does not
Oh.
smell nice. It's flavorless gelatin that when you mix it with hot water, it smells disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's what I got coming up.
Okay. Yeah, Brandon, any plugs?
Follow the Rob as a Podcast Instagram, RHAP Grams. They
Yeah, we
hit
had a wand
20,000
off yesterday.
followers
Wow.
overnight.
Yeah.
And we post on that all the time. It's
Okay.
great.
All right.
Don't
and
follow
then-
me. I have a lot of followers already. I don't
Yes.
need any more.
We had a fun what a flex. Okay, we had a fun podcast last night with Gabby Pascuzzi, a Wandoff as well. Steven and I will be back after the episode this week, so be on the lookout for all that here on RHAP. Danny will be back with us next week. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
We did it, guys.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.